Hi guys, welcome to Ask the Trainer Show, episode 6. Kuma's here with me today. Look at how good he's doing. He's been doing so well the past few days. He's got a lot of energy and he's really happy, aren't you? He was just fetching a little bit ago, but right before this. It was so cute. Do you love these? And he loves these treats. I found them at Trader Joe's and they're actually amazing. They're just one ingredient beef liver treats. If you guys haven't seen these at Trader Joe's, you need to get them. They're amazing and like every dog loves them. Freeze-dried treats are my favorite and dogs' favorites because they're the least processed and they smell the best. Do you like it? Yes. You're a good boy. It's always a good sign when he just like scarfs things down. Excuse me? Do we not have any manners? We need to teach him wait. That's what I'm going to be teaching him next. Right, little cutie. Thank you guys so much for your continued messages and your prayers and shares and everything for Kuma. We appreciate the support so much. And look at him, he's doing so well. Yes. I don't know if you guys saw a lot of people saw my Instagram story a couple nights ago of him like literally hopping around over a toy. I've never seen him so excited over a toy before, and it was the cutest thing ever. Oh my God, and he's like been having red rockets lately. It's really gross. What are you doing down there? Put that away. Put that away. But if he's feeling good enough to have it, I'm okay with that. Hi, June. Yes, Kuma. Good boy. Yes. So in these days that he's been feeling well, we have been working on a little bit of training because I haven't had the chance to do that since his health has been so bad, and it's been so fun just to be able to work with him. Do you want to get down, love? Are you all done? You want to get down? Okay, you want to get down? Okay, ready? Oh, you're so heavy. So heavy. He's almost 50 pounds now at the vet. Realistically, he should be like double the size by now, but we're just happy that he's like 50 pounds. Hi, princess. Hi, you little sweet. So what I was saying is that it's been so fun to be able to work with him on some training. Just because we haven't been able to because he's been so sick, and it's so fun to see him and his brain being stimulated, and he loves it. So he was doing like puppy push-ups, he finally learned, and he learned shake last night. And then we're working on go to your place. Like my other dogs, I have taught them to go to their place like when somebody's at the door, because before they used to like to bark and like rush everybody at the door. So I've taught them to go to their place and stay while somebody comes through the door. So we're working on that with him because he is so funny and has this like really deep bark. Isn't his bark pretty deep? Yeah. It's like really deep, and then you just see this little midget Akita running at you. So yeah, we've been working on that. Are you hot? Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing, you little cutie pie? And then I need to teach him wait and stay. Like he's definitely at the age, he's almost 7 months? Yeah, like 6 months is when dogs definitely need that self-control training. So wait and stay is for sure next. Are you thirsty? He gets hot very easily. And I keep my house like an ice box for him, so I don't really know why. Look at how he's sitting. Are you cute? You look a little sleepy today. It might be from the CBD oil and this like low-dose THC butter that he's been getting. It's keeping his pain really manageable. It's amazing, right? And you love it. That combined with this energy healing that he's getting has been working wonders. So the energy healing that he's getting is from this amazing man in San Diego that just transmits energy to him. Like every single night he does an energy healing session on him, and I actually did a FaceTime over the phone with him myself because I was having so much anxiety about Kuma and his health, and it helped me so much, and it's helped Kuma so much. I know I linked in my stories the other day his website, but I am not kidding. Like, it is amazing to try for people, for animals. So amazing. Right, Kuma? You love Maurice, don't you? Are you the cutest? Are you the cutest? Oh, he's so cute. I can't even take him. Okay, so are we ready for the first question?
Yes.
Okay, yay.
This is from Isaac. I have a Chihuahua mix and a Lab mix. My Lab likes to play catch by running around the home, and I try to catch him. But when he asks to play and gets excited, my Chihuahua barks at him. Any idea what this means and why she barks at him but not me? My Lab is okay around calm dogs but has reacted a couple times, bit and held onto puppies. Any tips on getting him not to react with biting?
Okay, so let me just get that straight. So the Lab gets super excited playing with the ball, and the Chihuahua barks because the Lab is so excited. And then who bites down on puppies?
The Lab. My Lab is okay around calm dogs, but has reacted a couple times and bit and held onto puppies.
Okay, got it. So it just, there's two issues here, and obviously with both of the dogs. So it seems like there's just no self-control in either of the dogs. The Chihuahua, it sounds like, is just a little bit of excitement, not sure what to do, not sure who to bark at when energy gets all over the place. Chihuahuas kind of like to do that. They're like fun police. So they're like, oh my gosh, that Lab is getting too out of control and need to bark to tell the dog to settle down. So with the Chihuahua, how I would redirect that is give him a different job to do. So when he is barking, just telling him no isn't going to do anything because he has that built up oh, I feel like I need to get the Lab in line. So just telling him no isn't going to get rid of those behaviors. So what I would do is I think it's so beneficial, and this is going to help with the Lab too, to teach dogs to go to their place. It teaches them to control themselves with a little bit of our direction, as opposed to just putting them in the crate and them learning to control themselves fully by our control. So teaching a dog to go to their bed, go to their place, go to their spot is so beneficial. Just teaching a dog to go to their spot, and that's their chill zone. So that's going to be super important to redirect the Chihuahua. You can also redirect him when he's barking at the Lab. I would call his name positively to come to me and sit instead. So when you feel like you want to yell and be the fun police at the Chihuahua or at the Lab, come to me instead or go to your bed instead. And then I would use a stay just to let him know his job isn't to just control and be the boss of that Lab. It's to go and just hang out in his bed or just come and sit next to you instead. Now, as far as the Lab, I don't know the extent of him biting down on puppies, but so it just kind of depends. If it's actually aggressive behavior, that's really going to need some a consultation from a trainer behaviorist, obviously. But typically with Labs, what I'm assuming is that it's just overexcitement and loss of self-control, especially around puppies. They don't know how to control themselves, so then that feeds into the Lab's excitement to control himself, not be able to control himself. So a couple things with the Lab. I would indirectly try to help that self-control by working on exercises like wait, leave it, stay, things like that. Wait, you can do a number of ways. You can do it going out the door. You can do it, it's amazing with Labs because they're so food motivated, and it's the hardest thing to not go for food when it's sitting right in front of their face. But do it when you're lowering down the food bowl. Do it with treats. Work indirectly on that self-control with that. And then I would also, it's just a really good rule of thumb, anytime that a dog is playing, two dogs are playing, you should try to call them out of their play before it reaches that point where they're just out of control. So I hear this a lot from people that it's like, oh, two puppies playing who don't know how to control themselves. People will tell me, it was fine, they were playing so great, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere it was like, rah, 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 like they were going at it. So when people say, oh, they're playing like this, completely fine, and then out of nowhere they snapped up here, that's not actually what's happening. It's not this straight line like, oh, just pure positive. It's actually a buildup. So here's self-control. The more that they are laser focused on themselves, playing, excitement builds, and all of a sudden they're this far from self-control that it's not like they're aggressive, but it's just excitement that has caused them to totally lose self-control, and then they just go at it. So to prevent that, there's a very thin line where there's overexcitement and total loss of self-control. To prevent the dog from getting up there, you want to call the dog when the excitement is right here. So just call their names to break up the play. So if Juno and Grizzly are playing, they're playing totally fine. Juno, Grizzly, they come to me, make them sit, and then they're back down here, and then they can go play more. Then once it's building up, call them again. Hi, Kuma. Kuma, you want a treat? Where'd they go? Oh, here. Hi. Sit. Oops, yes. Good boy. So when you redirect a dog to back down here and you keep the dog in this range, the dog teaches themselves to be in that range. It takes a little while and it takes a lot of like our guidance to get there. But that is the point of teaching them to control themselves. A dog isn't going to learn self-control on their own. They need our help to be able to do so. So hopefully that helps you with your dogs.
This is from Ori. How do you feel about shock collar training? Do you personally use it in your training, and why?
I hate shock collar training. Shock collar training is negative reinforcement, and obviously I am only a positive reinforcement trainer. I do think that I understand why people use negative reinforcement, so it's not like I'm just like, oh my god, I just don't understand that. I could never comprehend why anybody uses it. I understand why they use it, and that's because you see faster results than you do with positive reinforcement training. Negative reinforcement is like a quick fix, but it's also a band-aid fix. It doesn't really help what's going on in the dog's mind. So people use shock collars to, stop barking, stop certain behaviors. But unfortunately, a lot of times with negative reinforcement, depending on the issue, it can actually damage the dog more mentally. So I see this a lot on dogs that, you're on a walk and your dog is reactive. So I've seen before I, get to my clients, they're like, oh, I tried a shock collar, I tried this, and I think it made it worse, and this is why. If your dog is reacting at another dog, and you put a shock collar on him, what that's going to do is add more negativity to the situation. So your dog is already associating that other dog with negativity. So now a zap goes into play when your dog sees that other dog. That's a double negative. That's just going to feed into that negative association. And sure, your dog might stop barking because he's fearful that he's going to be zapped. So now you have like this negative association, you have fear, you have all of this just negative energy pent up in your dog, and it's not really fixing that issue mentally. So that's why I use positive reinforcement, like desensitization and counter conditioning. And sure, it's not a fast process, but you're actually helping your dog figuring out, getting to the root of the problem and figuring out, why is my dog lunging, barking, reacting at that dog? Is it fear? Is it straight aggression? Is it protective instinct, territorial? What is it? And then working to switch that negative association to a positive association. So I feel so strongly that shock collars just do not work at all, and it's just scaring your dog into listening. But again, I do understand people don't have patience. That's the biggest thing with positive reinforcement, is it takes so much patience that people don't have. So I don't really understand it because I have patience, and I know that positive reinforcement is actually helping your dog, and you're strengthening the bond with your dog. You're helping your dog become the best version of himself. So yeah, that's really my thoughts on the shock collar.
This one's from Amanda. My dog is doing really well with peeing outside. Crate training was a savior for this, but keeps pooping inside on my ribs. How do I stop this?
Okay, so this is sort of common, I would say. I am assuming, well, maybe not, but a lot of the times people run into this issue when they start with potty pad training. Doesn't say if they use that or not, right? But a lot of the times if they start out using potty pads, a rug can be mistaken for a potty pad. So that's typically why, but the other reason why that's not always the case, the other reason why is that when a dog, has to poop, they want to do it in a place where it's most comfortable. So inside on a nice rug is usually the most comfortable place. Like I've seen this a lot where they're fine peeing outside, but when they're pooping, they have to find their little place. So if you're using the crate, that's awesome. So great for the peeing. But what I would do is make sure that you're either feeding your dog in the crate, or you're feeding your dog, if you don't want to feed your dog in the crate, feed your dog outside of the crate, and then put your dog right into the crate after eating. And then figure out what time span it is that your dog digests and needs to go out to poop. So, did they say it was a puppy?
This is my dog.
Okay, so puppies, there's some puppies that have to go within like 10 minutes of eating. But I would say average would be like 45 minutes to an hour after eating for older puppies and older dogs. But just find that range. It could be at 30, it could be whatever. So put the dog in the crate, and the crate acts as the control place. So if you feed your dog and then you know that there's poop coming, but you're just letting your dog roam around the house, you're just asking for an accident. You're asking for your dog to go poop on the rug, because that's his natural instinct, is to want to go poop on that rug. So take away that opportunity by putting him in the crate. You could also just walk around outside with your dog for that whole amount of time after he ate. But I use the crate as just because I know it's going to take a little bit to digest, and it's also really good for a dog to relax after eating, just like us. It's not great to jump into exercising after eating. So what I'll usually do is, like when I feed Kuma, feed him in the crate, put him in there for like 30 minutes, and then I take him outside to go potty. So after, it's straight outside. Take away that opportunity for the rug. As long as you can, stand out there with your dog. So stand outside for 15 minutes if you can. And if he goes, make sure that you reward him, praise him. If he doesn't go, it's back into the crate when you get inside. I can't stress that part enough. So many people will tell me that they're outside with their dog for 15 minutes and he didn't go. And the second that he went inside, he went to the bathroom on the rug again. And it's like, yes, you have to completely take away that opportunity until he goes potty outside. So when I first get like a foster dog, it's in and out, like maybe a few times the first day, until the dog associates like, okay, I'm not going to get to go in there until I go out here. And especially if they really want to go on that rug, they might be stubborn about it. So you might have to go in and out from the crate to outside for like a couple hours, total, until he goes. But as long as you are firm on not giving your dog freedom in the house until he poops outside after every single meal, that's going to stop, and he's going to get over like not wanting to poop outside and only wanting to go inside. So just be strict with that, and by strict I mean every single time. So each time, if you let it slide one time, that's the time that he's going to remember, and he's going to keep being stubborn about, like, I know if if I just hold it, they're eventually going to give in. So just break that habit right away, and don't feel bad about going between outside and the crate until he goes to the bathroom. And as long as you're firm on that, he's going to go faster and faster and faster outside. Yeah.
I have a labradoodle and he is extremely food aggressive. He growls and tries to bite people. He is also partially aggressive to other dogs and small children. We were thinking of getting him neutered, but we don't know if that will work. Do you have any tips on what will work? We have tried to train him and nothing works.
So there's definitely a lot of issues there. Neutering might help a little bit, like taking away some of the extra testosterone, but it's not going to solve it completely. Not sure how old the dog is, right? We don't know. And not sure what type of training methods you've tried, but I would absolutely, with the people and other dogs, you're going to have to do desensitization and counter conditioning. And again, that just really depends on the dog and how exactly you can do it. You have to read the dog's stress signals, what's okay, to find that place where you're pushing the dog past his comfort zone, but not to the point where he's stressed out. With resource guarding, what I would do is, there's a few different exercises that you can do for resource guarding. The first one would be, when you're feeding him, I would put an empty bowl down on the ground so that he sees this bowl. Once, depending on the level of intensity on the resource guarding happens because a dog focuses all his energy onto that bowl. So if I were, coming into a situation working with a client that I didn't know the level of extent of the resource guarding, I would wait until the dog stops sniffing around in the bowl before I grabbed it, because some dogs even get protective of their bowl. So I would try to shift, see the empty bowl, and then once his focus is shift off the bowl, if that means you have to call him to go sit somewhere else, I'd pick it back up, then pour the food in it, and then I would make him do a wait command. So wait is amazing because it's good for self-control, and then it's also good for basically telling a dog, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Even when there's food right in front of your face, you can't go for it until my command or my release word. Okay, go, release, free, whatever you want to use. So I do wait, lower the bowl down, and work that way to strengthen that wait command. Once he's good with that and is waiting until you say okay, I would add a few more challenges into it. So I would say wait, put the bowl down, pick it back up before releasing him, put my hands all in it, still make him wait, maybe walk away from the bowl. And again, you can't do that until you have it more advanced that he's really understanding that command, but just add different challenges in it to test his self-control around the food and knowing that he needs to listen to you. So that would be really good. I would also make sure that anything you're giving him, treats, toys, bones, whatever you're giving him, you should always make him work for. So a sit, down, wait, like as many commands as you can to show him like you're working for this. It's not just given to you. And then I would also work on a leave it command that will just strengthen self-control. And then, yeah, that's definitely what I start with resource guarding. And if you're having issues past that, you may also be going about it wrong. If you've tried all of those exercises, when you have an intense resource guarder, you really have to be able to read your dog's body language. I went about this, it's probably still on my stories, right, from last night. Yeah, watch my stories with my foster dog, who is a really bad resource guarder in the beginning. That might help a little bit. But if the dog has any kind of sense that like you're gonna grab what it is, with the leave it, with the drop it, with anything like that, you don't want to grab it. So you just have to desensitize him in the right way. So if he's kind of like watching over his shoulder like, oh, I still want to guard this, but I want to listen to you and come and get a treat, let him come to you, give him the treat. This is with the leave it command. Get the treat and then let him go right back to it. So don't grab it every single time. So you have to really be smart with how you're desensitizing a dog. a lot of the times when I work with clients who have resource guarders, the owners are going about it the wrong way. And like this last one that I was just working with, the dog would pick up, he kept like guarding this guy's sandals. And so the dog would pick it up and then go into his little bed with it. So that's extra territorial then as well. And this guy would approach the dog, go close to him in his safe place and say, "Drop it, drop it." And it's like, Juno, are you getting scared of that? Hi, June. You know I would never say it to you like that. And this guy, I'm like, you're totally feeding into his feeling like he needs to guard this thing from you, the sandal from you, because you're adding negativity to it without even realizing it. And I would say like 90% of people do that when they're telling a dog to leave it or drop it. Like leave it and drop it should mean if I leave this, if I drop this, I get something better. Especially when you have a resource guarder, that's the only way to fully desensitize them of that. So what I would do is I would say, drop it, and I would stay far away from his little area and just hold out a treat. And I would say, Rover, whatever his name is, Rover, drop it. Oh, yes, and wait for him to come over to you. Again, if it's something that's really important that he drops, you have to get out of his mouth. You can't do this carefully, but to really desensitize their mind of it, that's how I would do it. And then try to increase the amount of time that he's right here and not going back to it. Because a lot of times if you tell a dog drop it, he's like, come and get a treat, and then he has that natural instinct to like run back and guard it again. So then I would just do it again, like drop it, and try to increase that time where he's present with you. So try to shift his mind off that thing entirely. Make him do sit, make him do down. Yes. Sit. Yes. Before going and grabbing that thing that he has. If you can, of course. Yeah, I know I kind of ranted on with that, but I'm sure that helps a lot of people.